Hi everyone, I'm Manisha, the founder of Modulo and a former pre-K through 12th grade teacher. And the subject of today's video is how to teach your child to read even if you can't read yourself or if you can't read well yourself. The first thing I want to say is that it's absolutely possible to teach your child to read. And what we're going to discuss in this video is how you can teach your child to read by learning to read with them. And the second thing that I want you to know is if you can't read, you might feel a little embarrassed or ashamed about that, but actually you're far from alone. There are 130 million Americans who can't read above a 6th grade level and 30 million Americans who can barely read at all. And when I look at this statistic, I say, this is not the fault of the people who can't read well like you. This is the fault of a school system who isn't teaching reading well. So we're going to help you learn how to read with your child in as fun and easy a way as possible. And I've helped lots of parents help their children learn many different skills they didn't feel that they were good at themselves. And I'm really confident we can do this with reading as well. So the first thing I wanted to say before we get started is that one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it. When I was younger, I learned French in school. I went all the way up through college learning French, and then I moved to France and studied French, and I got pretty good at French, but when I got really amazing at French was when I started teaching French to others. That's when I got the best sense of what I didn't know and really refined my skills. So the same with reading. Once you start teaching your child how to read, you're going to start understanding how to read a lot better yourself through teaching. We often talk about teaching as the final stage of mastery. So the second point, which I did bring up, was learning with your child. We're going to use a show on YouTube that I like to help your child and you learn how to read. And, it might feel a little bit embarrassing that you might not know some of these skills, but what's actually fantastic is that when your child watches you learn and struggle and keep going when you encounter an obstacle or find a new way to learn something that might be hard for you, this is incredibly inspiring to them. Even if your child is sometimes angry at you or fights, everything that you're doing is impacting them in so many ways. There's a theory of learning called social learning theory by a scholar named Modulo that shows that when you model something to your child, modeling is actually one of the best ways to learn. And what better skill than to learn how to learn? So it's going to be so great for your child to watch you learn and watch you have the courage to persevere when you get stuck. And that's really going to rub off on them in a great way. So teaching, the final stage of mastery, learn with your child. The best way to teach them is just to learn along with them. Okay, so the tool that I want to show you today is called Alpha Blocks. If you haven't heard of it, it's a really fun YouTube channel designed by some British people, and it has these cool little letters and they form together to make words. So if you are still learning how to read, it might be challenging even to find this channel on YouTube. So I put the title right here so you can see it on screen, but I'm also going to make sure that this is the first link in the description of this video, so you can just copy and paste it and go right to the channel. If you're having trouble finding Alpha Blocks, you could also ask your local librarian or a friend, maybe someone at the store, to just help you find Alpha Blocks on YouTube. So this is the official channel, and as you can see, there's lots of different videos. If your child is just starting out reading, is really struggling, I would recommend starting with Level 1, Alpha Blocks Fun. And I have assembled a playlist for you called Red Level 1. And I'm also going to put this playlist as the first link in the YouTube description, so it's really easy for you to find. So now I'm going to show you how we go through Alpha Blocks for reading. There's some research that shows that people who pause and rewind YouTube videos and watch them again learn so much more than people who just watch them from beginning to end. So what we're actually going to do is start watching this video, but then we're going to pause it and rewind and use that. So what you can do, for example, is you can pause and ask your child questions. So let me just play a little bit of this for you. Okay, so you can see that this little creature is jumping around and they have a bee on their head and they're making the B sound. So you could say, for example, to your child, oh, why are they making the B sound? And then your child might say, oh, because that's the letter B on their head. That kind of question is really great. So here I'm going to say, wow, I just heard them make the K sound. What letter is that? And then your child might say C. Or maybe your child even starts teaching you, which is even better. Okay, so now I just want to fast forward to show you how the little letters make a word and how I like to pause that. So I think we're going to go to a point where, okay, we have these three little letters. Okay, so I'm going to play. So you can see the T is making the t-t-t-t-t sound. And you can say something like, hey, why is that funny letter with a mustache making the t sound? Oh, because he's T. And that's the S, the A, T. So when the letters hold their hands like this, they're usually about to make a word. So whenever they do that, I usually pause and I try to see if the child can guess the word. A, T. So if you can guess what that is, that. So that's kind of a fun way to go through alpha blocks. I can find another example here. So there they're making P, A, T, and you can pause and you can say, hey, what do you think that is? Pat. So that's kind of an example of quickly how you can pause and play again and rewind, just to, instead of just watching it from beginning to end, to try to get your child in that mindset of guessing what the word is. And you can watch this red level 1 over and over and over again until your child can consistently guess the words correctly. And then once you're done with that, you can go to the next level, where obviously they're focusing on the letter M. And as you go through this YouTube together, eventually you're going to get a lot more familiar with the letters and the sounds and how sounds turn into words together. I find that reading with your child, learning to read with your child, is like a very intimate and special experience to share. So those are a few tips. And then after you go through all these levels and get really confident, I recommend that you start looking around for signs. So if you're going to the grocery store, if you're walking down the street, you might see the stop sign and you can sound that out together. Stop. So you can take what you're learning in the YouTube video and start applying it to the world around you. Just seeing if your child can identify a letter that they learned in the video in the sign. And if you do this 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, I think you're going to find that you and your child really start getting used to the sounds that different letters make, being able to recognize the letters. You're going to be able to start sounding out words together. This is just a fun kind of decoding activity, and you'll find you're going to start being able to move around the world much more easily together. So I just really like alpha blocks. I think it's a great way to start learning how to read. I would encourage you to watch the videos over and over and over as many times as you need to really understand the concepts. And if you feel like you're getting to a point where you're just guessing the words and you don't really know why, that's a great opportunity to step back and talk with your kid about it and see if you can figure out together why are certain sounds making certain words. And just take your time. If you do this a little bit every day, you're going to start getting really great at reading. And then as a next step, once you've gone through all the levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, you can start going to the library and asking your librarian for easy reading books that you can read with your child at home. And maybe you can just start with one very simple bedtime book every night that you read together. I hope that this video has been a helpful way for you to start thinking about teaching your child to read, even if you don't know how to read yourself, even if you're not great at reading yourself. I will just say that if you're a person who's thinking about teaching your child to read and you don't know how to read yourself, you're an amazing human being. I just don't know. I feel like reading is such a personal process, an intimate process. I remember when I was a child learning how to read, it felt really painful and scary. And I think that you're so awesome and brave that you're doing this, because ultimately, if there are this many people in the United States who do not know how to read, it's not their fault. The school system had one basic job to teach them how to read, and it failed. So obviously reading is not an easy skill. It's not a sign of your intelligence. It's just that your school system did not do what it was supposed to do. What makes you special is that you've taken responsibility and you've decided that you're going to learn how to read anyway, that you're going to teach your child how to learn to read anyway, and you're going to give them this tool of power that will unlock so many opportunities ahead. So I wish you the best of luck. We are here for you if you need help. And again, I'm going to put the links to Alpha Blocks as the first link in this video, or you can always ask a friend for help. And we're going to be doing definitely more videos about how to teach your child how to read. If you don't know how to read, how to help your child with math if you're not necessarily great at math, so that you and your child can learn together and thrive and have fun doing it. Have a great day, everyone, and I wish you the best of luck teaching your child how to read from the bottom of my